Yo, sup, this is NY3, and today we're finally getting around to doing the slump combo video. Now, to make sure that our YCS competitors using this deck had the best chances at Anaheim, Bochum, and Sydney, this video is quite overdue. But now that all that's over, let's show this combo. Now, I'm going to be showing 4 different ways to do this combo in this video. Now, these aren't just 4 different ways so you can style on your opponent differently every game. There are different constraints to each of these different pathways to achieve the same end result. Constraints such as having to run double combination or having to not open any Zephrinu in your starting hand that you have to discard with Jiaotu, things like this. So that if you fail the fulfillment of one thing, you can do things slightly differently. It might result in lesser field, but still getting access to that heavy slump, which is what it's all about. All 4 of these methods start from the standard hand of 1 Metaphor 3 Yangzing, and they all end with a slump and 1 or 2 searched negate. Now this combo can also be used to search out any card in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So instead of Heavy Slump, we can search Soul Charge, Vanity's Emptiness, Skill Drain, Anti-Spell Fragrance. But do keep in mind, we're downgrading from the 4 or 5 negate combo down to 1 search card and 1 or 2 negates. So that's a 3 negate downgrade from the standard combo, which is why currently I don't believe that there's any card apart from Slump worth searching. But that doesn't mean not to be on the lookout in the future, as new cards are being released every month, which also means you should look at the old cards that can interact or counter the new cards being released. Yeah. Anyways, the goal is, if you have the standard 1 Metaphor 3 Yangzing combo, and they max you, you want to search the Heavy Slump to make sure that Max C doesn't ruin your day. Max C is one of the most overpowered cards in Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is why it's worth sacrificing 3 negates to search Heavy Slump and counter the Max C. Anyways, 4 combos to show. The first one is the most freeform one. It requires you to run double Metaphors combination to do. So with our standard starting hand, activate, summon Faux Pops Yangzing, setting a combination, and the Yangzing floats into a Jiaotu. Jiaotu is going to discard our Yangzings. This summons Zephrinu and Zefraxi. Synchro into Denglong. Denglong is going to search. The first negate, Denglong's other effect is going to drop a level 2 to put himself to level 2. We're going to Synchro Summon for Baxia. Denglong floats. Baxia pops combination, grabbing back. Jiaotu combination gets us the opposite scale. We're going to activate the opposite scale, use it to pop Chiwen in this case. This sets our second combination, and Chiwen floats into Zephrinu. Synchro Summon into another Baxia. The second Baxia is going to spin the first Baxia. The second Baxia is also going to pop the combination to bring back any Yangzing, doesn't really matter. Probably don't bring back Chiwen though, since we want that in the graveyard for next turn. Combination is going to grab us Stealin. Next up, we Pendulum Summon both Zephrinu and Stealin. Zephrinu is going to grab us the second negate. We could grab the second negate, or we could grab something like Path, or Prana, or Creation. I can talk about that later. But yeah, next, we're going to overlay both Zephrinu for Beatrice. Detach for Beatrice. This puts our Heavy Slump into the graveyard. Next, tune the Baxia and the Metaphor Stealin for Nirvana High Paladin. Since we didn't use a tuner to summon Nirvana High Paladin, we can grab back any card from our graveyard, such as the Heavy Slump that we just put there. We're going to go ahead and set all 3 and pass turn. At our first opportunity, we want to activate the Heavy Slump, which shuffles their whole hand back, and they only draw 2. Now the reason why we have to search at least one counter trap is because they can chain their quick plays to the heavy slump. Now throughout this combo, they are going to draw a lot of cards off max C, so it is quite likely that they have multiple quick plays that they can chain to the heavy slump. And we want that spell speed 3 card here chained to their first quick play. And since we brought it up to spell speed 3, they cannot chain any more quick plays. The chain resolves, slump resolves, they put their whole hand back and draw 2. Now you can see the problem here. Since slump was chain link 1, their quick play was chain link 2, and your pillars was chain link 3. Now when you pop your Yang Zing at this point, so your Jiao it's not going to be able to float. Since it misses timing, slump was the last thing to happen, not the destruction of Jiao, which is why the second pillars might be useless. That's why it's worth considering. Instead of searching the second pillars, we search something like a Yang Zing Prana. Pillars can pop the Prana instead of the Jiao. If we search a Yang Zing Creation, Creation is a float that does not miss the timing. So even if the destruction of Jiao is not the last thing that happened here, Creation is still going to be able to float out something from your deck. Or if you don't want to run either of these, you can simply search Path instead to draw 2. The advantage of searching double pillars is after you activate Slump, if they don't chain a quick play or they have, then you have 2 counter traps for the 2 cards that they draw. If by some miracle that your opponent manages to make a counter attack after having all of this happen to them, you still have plenty of recovery. You have your pendulum scales intact, so you're going to draw 1 for turn. You have a Zefraxi and a Steelin to pendulum summon, which is not that much, but you might have drawn something that you can pendulum summon as well. Beatrice has 1 material, so you can go ahead and detach that on your turn or their turn, doesn't really matter. To put the Metaphor's Fusion into the graveyard, so you can shuffle it back on your turn and draw a second card. You have a 2/5 beat stick, a 3/3 beat stick that can halve your opponent's life points. So yeah, you have all of this resource for your next turn. There's really no coming back for your opponent. So the second combo is another combo that requires double combination in the deck, but this time we're going to open slightly worse. So this is the 1 Metaphor, 1 Terratop, 1 Yang Zing opening hand, and we're still able to pull off the slump combo if we run double combination. So to start off the combo, special Terratop, search red-eyed dice, normal red-eyed dice, make Terratop level 4, synchro summon into Denglong. Denglong is going to search our second discard target, Chiwen. While you're at it, you might as well use Denglong to dump another Chiwen to make him level 1. Activate the Metaphor Scale, pop Denglong. This sets the first combination and Denglong summons Jiao. Jiao is going to discard 2 to summon Zephyr and another Yang Zing from the deck, such as Suwani. Synchro for the first Baxia. Baxia is going to destroy combination to bring back Jiao. Combination is going to grab us our opposite scale. Activate the opposite scale, use it to pop the Suwani to set the second combination. Suwani triggers to summon the second Zephyr. Synchro summon into the second Baxia. The second Baxia spins the first Baxia to make room, and it destroys combination to bring back any Yang Zing, doesn't really matter, but probably not Chiwen since we want that in the graveyard. Metaphor's combination is going to search Steelin. Pendulum summon Steelin and both Zephyr. Zephyr grabs us our spell speed 3, overlay the Zephyr for Beatrice. Detach to put Slump in the grave, tune our Baxia and Steelin for Nirvana's High Paladin, which grabs back the heavy slump. Set both, and that's our infield. Again, we have a 3/3 beat stick that halves life points. We have Our spell speed 3 setup, as well as our slump. And if you run the Metaphor's Fusion, Beatrice can dump that for you to get another draw. This field is slightly weaker than the first one, but we only did it with 3 cards, so we can't complain. Now the third combo is another 1 Metaphor 3 Yangzing combo, except we can do this with only running 1 combination. This also requires us to have all 3 Zephrynus in the deck, or as our 5th card in our hand. So yeah, we're going to summon the Terratop, grab Red Eye Dice, normal summon Red Eye Dice, make Terratop level 6, Synchro Summon for Yazi, activate our scale, pop our Yazi. This sets combination. Yazi floats into Jiaotu. Jiaotu discards both, summoning Zephrinu and Zefraxi. Synchro summon Jiaotu and Zephrinu for Baxia. Baxia pops combination, bringing Jiaotu back. Combination gets us the opposite scale. Synchro Zefraxi and Jiaotu for Denglong. Denglong searches Zephrinu to our hand. Activate the opposite pendulum scale. Pendulum summon both Zephrinu and Zefraxi. Zephrinu searches our spell speed 3. Denglong effect is going to drop himself down to level 1 by putting a Chiwen in the graveyard. Denglong and Zefraxi makes Herald of the Arclight. Denglong floats into the 3rd Zephrinu from our deck. Overlay the Zephrinu we just summoned with one of the ones we pendulum summoned for Beatrice. This is important to not use the 2 that you pendulum summoned. Beatrice detaches, dumping Heavy Slump to the graveyard. Herald of the Arclight only stops monsters from going into the graveyard. Tune our Herald and our pendulum summon Zephrinu for Nirvana High Paladin. Herald and Nirvana both trigger. This grabs back Heavy Slump from the graveyard, and Herald searches us a Salravis if you run it. We're going to set both and pass. Now, as I said, we're going to be popping our Baxia for the 9 pillars. Since we're usually going to be using the 9 pillars on spell speed 3 or higher, it doesn't matter that the Baxia doesn't float because it probably wasn't going to float anyways. The second negate being a Salravis rather than the second 9 pillars is kind of an upgrade, since we didn't have enough Yangzings to use multiple 9 pillars anyways. If it was a 9 pillars and a creation, then it would probably be better than this. We're getting away with doing this whole combo with just 1 combination, so we can't really complain that it's slightly worse. Now, for the final combo is another very standard 3 Yangzing 1 Metaphor combo. Again, this only requires 1 combination in the deck to do. Unlike the previous combo, we can discard 1 Zephrinu because we only need 2 Zephrynus in this deck for it to work. However, the drawback is if you're not running 2 level 7 synchros, you can't replace one of the Yangzings with a Terratop. The reason why that is should become pretty obvious as I do this full combo. So yeah, I'm just going to have a Zephrinu in hand, which I'm going to discard off the Jiaotu to show that it's possible with just 2 Zephrynus in the deck. So activate the scale, normal summon the Yangzing, pop it, set combination. Jiaotu, discard our 2 Yangzings. A lot of people like to run 1 Zefraxi, so I'm just going to pretend that I only run 1 Zefraxi. So we're going to summon a random Yangzing and Zephrinu. Synchro for Baxia. Baxia pops combination, bringing back Zefraxi. Combination gets us the opposite scale, which we're going to activate and pop the BN with. Since we are only running 1 combination, we're going to set fusion. BN, then summons another Gel 2 from the deck. And we can make Denglong as per usual. Denglong can grab any level 2 or higher Yang Zing at this point. Doesn't really matter, so I'll just get a Swanee. We're gonna Pendulum Summon Swanee, Zephyrinue, and Zefraxi. Zephyrinue grabs us the spell speed 3. We're going to modulate the level of Denglong, so that plus whatever we just searched adds up to 7. Since we searched the level 4, we're going to make Denglong level 3 by dumping a Bian. Synchro the Denglong and Swanee for Yazi. Denglong's effect activates, summoning the second Zephyrinue from the deck. Overlay the 2 Zephyrinue for Beatrice, detach to put Slump in grave. Synchro the Zefraxi and Yazi for Nirvana's High Paladin, grabbing back the Slump. Set that in pillars, and we have our Slump combo backed up with 1 counter trap. So yeah, these are the main ways you can do the Slump combo. Correctly identifying the hands that you can do the Slump combo with quickly is pretty key. The last thing you want to happen is when you're in a position where you're unsure if you can do the Slump combo or not after your opponent max sees you, and then you get called out for slow playing, for thinking too much about it. So you don't want that to happen. The DDD structure deck just came out today. In that structure deck is a way to make Denglong with just 1 card and your normal summon. So I'll probably make a video on that soon. YGOsingles.com does have DDD structure deck singles available. Discount code NY333YGO.